I don't doubt that God is faithful. I know that He will make things right, or He will carry me through, or He'll just walk through it with me, whatever it is. And that is a lifestyle of hope. When I began in music ministry, I had the opportunity to travel to all of these places that I had just read about or heard about. And when you begin to see how the rest of the world lives, you have a greater understanding of the suffering and the hurt and the loss. The first time you hold a dying child, that shakes you to your core. It really does. And anybody who knows my music ministry, you know I've advocated for children's rights my whole ministry, because I believe there's something that could be done, and we needed to change this world for the better. That's part of what God's called me to do. But there was a time that I happened to be in another country where there had been a disaster, and they had given me a little girl to hold, and there was nothing that could be done for her. And she died in my arms. And I went back to that hotel room, and I remember hating that I was there. I refused to sleep in the bed because I had just seen some of the awfulness in this world, and I didn't know how to bring these two worlds together. It was a very emotional place for me to be in. After a day like that, I was overwhelmed. And I was upset with God. I was mad at Him. And it angered me that anything like this could happen to such an innocent, the little girl that I held, and so many hundreds and hundreds and thousands of others who did nothing wrong. But because they were in this sinful world, here they were just destroyed by it. And I didn't understand how a God could watch that happen. So I was mad. And it's embarrassing to say that I doubted Him. That I began to think, well, how can He really exist? How can God really be here if we're seeing this? That was the first time in my life that I didn't want to have anything to do with God. And that's an embarrassing thing to say. But I struggled. Everything I've studied my whole life about God, either it's true, all of it, or none of it is. It's going to be one or the other. And that was the defining moment I had come to. Which is it? Is He real? And if He is, then I'm going to have to trust that He will be victorious in all these things that I see in front of me. What I see physically with my eyes is not His hand at work sometimes. But do I trust that He is there and that His promises will be true? I'm grateful that God remained faithful to me, even when I couldn't trust Him. For that short time, He let me struggle, He let me question and deal with some of the tough issues. And I came to my conclusion. And what it boiled down to is that I knew that God had been faithful to me in small things. I had seen His hand at work in small ways. And so I chose that I was going to believe that everything He said is true, and that even if I don't see it in front of me, I will trust that one day He will be victorious in all things as He says He will. And it was a wonderful place to be, to settle that question of God is who He says He is. That doesn't mean that I haven't faced seasons since that time, ways to question again, but I don't. When some of the worst things happened to me, there was a season in my life that I kept thinking there must be a bullseye on my back because bad things just kept happening. A car accident that crushed my foot, cancer, one thing after another. It came at me fast. And those are times that you can question God, that you can say, what is happening? How can you let this happen to me? That's not what it's about. I don't understand all the elements of this great controversy that's going on, but I do know that God is faithful and that He promises that He will carry us through. I think that If we could hear how He talks to the Father about us, if we could understand His love for us in that way, I think it would change all of these uncertainties that we face in front of us. I don't know who's listening to this or why we've needed to sit here and do this interview, but God had a reason. And I don't know who needs to hear this today, but you need to hear that God is for you and He is going to carry you through whatever it is you're facing. And He will take you to a place of joy. We just have to honor Him with our actions, and we have to have faith in Him. You know, the devil wants us afraid and fearful and angry and all these things. And God just says, trust in me, stand on your faith in me, and I will do this. And that is a wonderful life to live in that knowledge. That's my lifestyle of hope.